Hey everyone, Cal once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And this time welcome back to another reviewing another 1996 film for its 20th anniversary. And this one they came out around this time, like around the Christmas time. And it's a film that came out that was directed by the late Wes Craven. It was probably deemed one of his most famous films, one of the most popular films. And with Wes Craven, I miss. May he rest in peace. And so this film that came out in 1996, which I'm going to do for a 20th anniversary review, is Scream. And I would say it's another good another great Wes Craven film. I highly enjoy Scream. And really quick, I just have this a regular DVD. I know there's a Blu-ray that contains all four of the movies. Well, actually, I think it was I think it was all four of the movies. I think it was one with three, but the one that contains like two documentaries. But I don't have that though. But I'll just finally settle with this. Even though I heard there were some good things from those two documentaries on the Blu-ray though. But oh well. But I highly enjoy Scream. I will say it's another one of Wes Craven's best films. I love Nightmare on Elm Street, People Under the Stairs, Shocker, The Serpent and the Rainbow, and this film. I would say those are the top films for me for Wes Craven. Red Eye was a decent thriller with Rachel McAdams and Cillian Murphy. My solo take, sadly say it sucked. Vampire Brooklyn, I would say sucked as well because I did not care for that film as well. Even for his early films, like his first film, the original Last House on the Left. I didn't care for though. I think I like the 2009 remake better. I didn't even care for the original his original Hills of Ice. I think the remake is much better. But that's just me though. But the other ones, like I mentioned off, were I would say those are my top films for Wes Craven. And this just sucks. I miss Wes Craven a lot. He was just a good horror thriller director. But with this film, now I would say which I would agree. What it has here both back a clever, hip, and scary, and a clever thriller. The word "clever," which is on both sides, I would definitely agree with. I would say it's a very clever movie. It was different. I would say kind of like back. I would say back in those days, the 90s. I would say it was very different, almost kind of like original, I would say, and how it played on the cliches and off of all the stuff, the cliches that happens in slasher films. I think Wes Craven, and even I would give props to the script that was by Kevin Williamson. I would give props to those as well. I think that the script was very smart. And it did things differently how it was from back in the day, like in the 90s, didn't think about doing something like this. So that's why I thought it was kind of a unique thing about it. And originally, when they released this back around the Christmas, I think because usually when family films are released around that time, so they want to give like a horror film to keep things interesting for around the holidays, and then it had good word of mouth, and and its grossing kept on going and going because people were getting intrigued by it, and then when it spawned three sequels, Scream 2. I would say the first one was still better. Scream 3 I like, then Scream 4 I did not like, though, but it was sad to say Scream 4 was the last film that he did. That was down in 2011. We died and passed in 2015. But oh well. But the first Scream has always been the best of the bunch. I remember growing up with the first Scream, and not only with the cliches and stuff like that, it was a good mystery film as well. Because back then, growing up, I did not know who was the killer. But yeah, growing up, I did not know that though, and it was good. It was different and it was very clever. I would say, yeah, I would definitely use that word, clever. And I thought the cast did a really good job. Neve Campbell, David Arquette, Courteney Cox, Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich, if I mispronounced his name, Rose McGowan, Jamie Kennedy, even Drew Barrymore for the opening. Like I said, this I like the script how was done by Kevin Williamson, which you going to do what I know what you did last summer for the script writing for that, and then the Faculty. It was just really fun. It was just different. Back at the time, during the time, it was different for a horror film. It was unique about it. And what more can I say? Okay, how it opens up? It opens up with Drew Barrymore. She gets a phone call. Our mysterious caller, voiced by what's the voice? Oh, forget. Was it Roger Jackson? Yeah. Say, what are you watching? Oh, I'm gonna put on a scary movie. Ooh, what's your favorite scary movie? And he was like, do you like scary movies? Usually the dialogue like that, and it's like, what do you want to know? Oh, I want to know what I'm looking at. And you see with Drew Barrymore, her boyfriend's tied up, and he's gonna ask her some movie questions on horror films, like, oh, who was the killer in Halloween? Michael Myers. And then who was the killer in Friday the 13th? And she says Jason, which wrong. There was Jason's mother who was the killer in the first movie. Jason didn't appear until the sequel. And then her boyfriend dies, and Wes Craven doesn't shy away from the gore. This film does not shy away from the gore. It's pretty gruesome as well. Like, the boyfriend, his gut gets cut open, his stomach gets cut open, and all the guts are falling out. And it's a pretty gory film as well. So I guess like when people get stabbed, they get stabbed repeatedly, and guts, stomachs cut open with guts falling out. So it really is doesn't not shy away from the gore. It was really good to see that. And then she, with at least another that Drew Barrymore, she gets stabbed repeatedly, and when her parents get there, they find her hung from a tree, dead, and she was also cut open as well. And you introduced it with Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott. And like the whole school's been like investigated because of the deaths of Drew Barrymore and her boyfriend. And just the cast really works well. Like, she has her boyfriend Billy, Skeet, Ulrich, and her friend Rose McGowan, who her brother is David Arquette, Dewey, who's a deputy. Which with Dewey, he's not like not all there though, but he is a kind person though. He's nice to people, but he's not like all there when he's a deputy. And he has the thing with Courteney Cox as Gale Weathers, the reporter, in which this is the time when the film basically brought David Arquette and Courteney Cox together, but a few years ago they've now separated, sadly. But hey, something like that happens. Some actors, they fall in love on the set. It's like how this film, and I think really the time that when Daredevil was being made, it brought Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner together. So yeah, sometimes it works that way though. But and just how they talk about what the cliches and how the stuff in the films are. Like when Matthew Lillard as Stu talking with Jamie Kennedy at the video store, and how he plays of how anybody can be a suspect. It was like he was trying to save time. Everybody's a suspect, and just how they play off all the red herrings. And it was like a good murder. It was like a good murder mystery. You don't know who's who. Anyone can be a suspect. You don't know who's the killer. It was like that. Like when we mentioned about Prom Night. Prom Night was a good murder mystery as well. You didn't know who the killer was. So yeah, with this film, played off it's with some of the mixing with comedy as well, mixed with the red herrings. I mean, it was a good mystery film. And with good cast with good characters and actors playing off well. And then when a part with Henry Winkler as the school principal, like how he's talking with these two students with the ghost face mask, and kind of puts the scissors towards them and cuts up one mask. And of course you get the cameo with Wes Craven dressed with the sweater, dressing up like Freddy Krueger with the sweater and the hat. Which that was how that shot would look when it showed Wes Craven's cameo there. I felt it was kind of off because it was something you see from a parody. Of course, how the original title was can be Scary Movie, but of course that would be later with the 2000 comedy parody spoof Scary Movie, which Scream is kind of a unique title back in the time. So yeah, I'm glad they made it like this. But as I was saying that with Wes Craven, that was how his cameo was shot. It looked like you see something from a spoof comedy though, but with the Freddy Krueger, and all the Freddy Krueger sweater and hat. And then Fonzo he gets killed. Yeah, so I was saying that screen Ghostface kills Henry Winkler. So he killed him from Happy Days. Oh no. So he just gets stabbed repeatedly, and you see with his shot with his shows a close up of his eye, and you see the Ghostface reflection through his eye. And then one time where everyone's gonna have the finale where it's gonna be at Matthew Lillard's house, and you get one of the famous lines from the movie when Jamie Kennedy is explaining when they're watching Halloween. He's saying that 1, you can never have sex, and 2, you can never drink or do drugs, and 3, say I'll be right back because you'll never be back. And then Matthew Lillard's like, I want to go to another beer. You want one? He's like, yeah, sure. I'll be right back. And it's they were like, oh. And Matthew Lillard, I like. I thought, of course, he played Shaggy in Scooby Doo, which I always thought he played a good Shaggy. So Matthew Lillard was funny, especially when it's Matthew Lillard and Jimmy Kennedy. I thought they were both were really funny. I got chuckles out of both of them. So they both did a really good job in this film. They both made me laugh. Yeah, it's a clever slasher horror film, but it adds in the humor as well. That doesn't. It's not way too over the top though, but it's in the middle. It's settled in. It's like they put it in we know that's supposed to be funny, but they play it like it's Not the obvious funny joke though. If you get what I'm saying, it's like they make it seem like it's okay. We know that they're supposed to be funny, but they're not making it seem like it's supposed to be funny though, because they're doing like the cliches and all that, and but it was handled well. Um, and then one part where Rose McGowan, she was going to get some more beer in the garage, and the killer's right there, and she like throws throws some beer bottles at him. She tries to escape through a doggy door in the garage, so the Ghostface just hits the button, and the garage goes up, and her get a good death where her head gets crushed like this. And then where another part where Neve Campbell, has a sex with the Skeet Ulrich, and I thought it was pretty clever how it was making it seem like it was that he was the killer, because earlier he was visiting Sydney up in her bedroom, climbing up the window. Of course, do you get the reference from Nightmare on Elm Street, because they got him because he kind of looked like a young Johnny Depp, which I can see that. Because of course that is a straight reference from Nightmare on Elm Street. So they think he is the one who's been doing it, and he even shows where he gets arrested. And I was like, even though he says I didn't do it, but it seemed like he is. And then when the other killer supposedly stabs him, it's like, oh, he's dead. But it turns out later he is not dead, and he is a killer. So like how they played up how he was not the killer, even though he says he didn't do it, but he is the killer. And of course, there are two killers in this. The other one it will be is Matthew Lillard. And I like the fact that there was two killers in this, not just like one though, because like, oh, how could he like earlier when Sydney when she got the call, and how can that be him? How can that be Billy, because he's in jail, and she gets attacked by Ghostface, and then when Dewey shows up right after that, it's like, oh, wait a minute, how come you just showed up after all this? So yeah, everything was handled very well in the movie, and I enjoyed that. And then going back to the ending, she gets chased by Ghostface, and then goes to with Courteney Cox's her cameraman, his throat gets slit. It was a good throat slit right there. And she's just it's this cat and mouse. She's trying to go from one place to another. And when and she finds Dewey, he's in the house, and he gets stabbed in the back. And Courteney Cox, and when she goes in the van, she sees like stuff on the windshield, and it's blood. Her dead cameraman's on top. It's like, Kenny, I'm sorry, but get out my fucking van. And she sees Sydney, but she veers off the road and thinks she's dead. And then she sees both Matthew Lillard and Jimmy Kennedy. He's like, oh no way, he's the killer. No, he is. No, he did it. They're both pointing their fingers at each other, and she says, fuck you both, and then like shuts the door. And then Billy says, oh, he's still alive, but he takes the gun and then shoots Jamie Kennedy. So we all go a little mad sometimes. Anthony Perkins, psycho, shoots Jamie Kennedy. And it shows that he is the killer, and also along with Matthew Lillard, they're both involved in it. And I like how they reference all this stuff they get from the scary movies and stuff like that. It was handled well, and saying that with the Sydney's backstory with her mother that died, and saying that how Billy was explaining that his mother left because of Sydney's mother, because of her mother having sex with his father, and so they killed her. They killed her like a year ago. And now, like in the movie rules, like, oh, since you had sex, you're no longer a virgin. Now you can die now. And then they kidnapped Sydney's father, and they plant the stuff on him to make him think he's the killer. And now they're gonna both stab each other, make it seem like they were left for dead. So they both stabbing each other. And Neve Campbell was like, "You've seen one too many movies." And Skeet Ulrich is like, and I say, don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychopaths. Maybe they make psychopaths more creative. And then Gale Weathers shows up with the gun, saying, here's I got an ending for you. The woman, the reporter you thought was dead, comes back, stumbles onto you two dipshits' plan, and saves the day. But the safety was on, but she gets knocked out. But then the city gets with her father, and they're both like, uh-oh. And then like Matthew Lillard is like, oh, I think you cut me too deep. I think I'm dying, man. And I love this spot with Matthew Lillard was funny. When the phone rings and she has the voice, and it's like, it's like, hello, oh, Stu. So Billy has his motive. What's your motive? Peer pressure. I'm just too sensitive. And he's like, did you? And when Billy hits the phone at him, he's like, you hit me with the phone, dick. And he's like, did you really call the police? Well, you bet your ass I did. Oh, my mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me. I got a big chuckle out of that because I thought Matthew Lillard played said that was really funny, so I got a smile out of that. And then when Neve Campbell wears the ghost face, Alva stabs Billy with the umbrella, and then Matthew Lillard tackles her, and then Neve Campbell says, "In your dreams," and slams the TV into his face, and then when Billy was about to stab Sydney, Courtney Cox gets the gun and shoots him. It's like, where's the safety now on, right? And then Jamie Kennedy, he's still alive, and he goes, and as they both go approaches Billy's body, is like, Jamie Kennedy's like, careful, this is the moment where the killer comes back to life for one final scare. And of course, when he does this, he shoots him in the head. It's like, not in my movie. And then the film ends, with Gale giving her report. So, I highly enjoyed Scream. I didn't get too much into it because it's been talked about a lot of times, because it's probably one of Wes Craven's best films. I just explain how the stuff like the cliche, how they play out the cliches and the red herrings. It was different how it was back in the 90s. There was not a film like this that did that stuff, before all the stuff. I'm sure they did little references though, but nothing like this. So Wes Craven, his directing was really good. I do give props, and the script by Kevin Williamson was really well done. It was a clever script, and the whole film was very clever. The cast did a really good job. I enjoyed Neve Campbell. I enjoyed David Arquette, Courtney Cox, Skeet Ulrich, Matthew Lillard. I thought it was really funny. Same with Jamie Kennedy. Rose McGowan. It was nice to see Henry Winkler's little appearance as well, and Drew Barrymore as well. The score by who did the score? Marco Beltrami. I highly enjoy the score. It's a really good score, and I also like the score that was playing during the end credits when it was showing them the actor, the cast. He's like, a whisper of the scream. I like that song as well. So it has a good song at the end. The score I do enjoy, and it's just under 2 hours. But it's really but besides the end credits, it's less. It'll probably be less than that though. But it's a very well paced film, and the film is really gruesome and gory. It has like a couple times, when the opening with Drew Barrymore and her boyfriend got both cut open, guts falling out, and repeatedly getting stabbed, and lots of blood, like the throat slit and blood everywhere, and so the film does not shy away from the gore. It is a gore film. It is a pretty gory film. Who The deaths I thought was where the deaths was cool. Like, with Rose McGowan when she gets her head crushed on the garage door. Henry Winkler gets repeatedly stabbed, and like I said, the opening with Drew Barrymore, her boyfriend, stabbed and cut open. So it was good with some good deaths, and the backstory, with this with Neve Campbell's mother, the motivation for Billy to do whatever. I like the fact that I did like that there was two killers. It was quite different instead of just one typical one. And the voice by Roger Jackson I liked. And one thing I would say though, I'm just going off though. I know there's been a series, a TV show from MTV of Scream. I think they're like going to like a third season, or I think it's already happened. I think because I know there's been one season. I know there's been a second season. I think they're doing with the third season. I haven't seen the show though, but I looked at the commercials, especially when the first season came out. I was never totally interested. I did not care for that season. Just how the commercials were, how the show was. I was not totally interested. I did not care about that show. It looked like an awful show to me. It didn't look like it felt like a Scream to me. Especially the look of Ghostface, the mask looked horrible. The mask was cool looking in this. But when I saw the mask in that show, that was horrible. That was a horrible looking mask. Me personally, you didn't need to do a series. To me, Scream didn't look like it didn't need a TV series. Well, now these days they're now doing like, I was like ever since the start of this year they've been doing like a series based on films like The Exorcist, Lethal Weapon, and Rush Hour. Why doing a series based on these films just now when they don't look that good to me? Lethal Weapon didn't look good. It didn't look funny at all. Neither was Rush Hour. The Exorcist didn't look that interesting to me at all. And why? So why would I saw the commercials and the trailer TV spots for the series of Scream. I did not look careful with that at all. It looked horrible to me, especially the mask. God. They should have stuck with the original. They should have stuck with the original. But whatever. But the mask was cool looking. It was especially how for the '90s they created a new boogeyman type of figure for a slasher film. It was a cool at the time. It was a cool but different type of killer. Other than with Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees. So yeah, I love Scream. I didn't get too much into it, but because people know about this, how they played off with the cliches from other slasher films and all this other stuff, and it was different from the '90s. It was really quite different, and it was. I don't know what we're gonna say. Wes Craven did a really great job for this film. And I will not review the sequels just yet because I'm just doing the first one for the 20th anniversary review because like I said before, I'll wait on the Die Hard sequels as well because I just have other stuff to do before New Year's. But I will get to those sequels to Die Hard, and I will get to the sequels to this. But just for now, I just want to review this just for the 20th anniversary. So yeah, the film got a lot of positive reviews as a how much is it? It has like a 70. I think it was like a 79% Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, it does. 79% Rotten Tomatoes. 7.2 on IMDb. Good enough ratings. But even surprisingly, the TV series of Scream has a 7.3 on IMDb, which I don't get. Like that, the TV show has a 7.3, and that's like a 1 point higher than the first movie, which is a 7.2. How does that how is it the TV show gets a slight raise above the first movie? I have no idea why. To me, the TV show does not look that good. I don't see how it gets a much slight higher rating than the first film does. That's just mind-boggling to me. I'm surprised they didn't show if that has a higher rating on Rotten Tomatoes than the first movie. Who knows? the show did not look that good to me at all. But anyway, that's my review for the first Scream film, the 20th anniversary review for it. It was a decent hit when it came out around the holiday. It was a big hit actually when it came around the holidays for good word of mouth. It was a hit. It made over 100 million domestically, especially worldwide. The cast did a really great job with the score. The script was clever, directed by Wes Craven. The gore, the playing off the cliches and slash films and all that other stuff. It was funny at times. It was funny, well, funny for a lot of times, especially for Matthew Lillard and Jamie Kennedy. It was different. It was a different type of film, especially for a slash film from the '90s. It was quite different. So yeah, it was a clever horror film back in the day. That's what I use our term is clever. Wes Craven, I miss very much. He will be very well missed, and this is one of his best films, creating this new franchise back in the day for horror films. And it has an audio commentary for this film, which is a good commentary between him and Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson. But anyway, yeah, that's my 20th anniversary review for Scream. I love the first Scream. So I hope you enjoy this 20th anniversary movie review for it. And I will get to the sequel some other time, though. But just for now, 20th anniversary movie review, done. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my review for it for Scream. Wes Craven, may rest in peace. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.